Yeah, go for it. Let's do 2 today. I'm gonna erase my numbers here and put a second free reading in. Like I tell you guys all the time, sometimes I do 2, sometimes I do 1. Kind of depends on the live. Frankie, happy to see you. How's your morning going? And then for the second free reading, if you guys want to drop again, name, date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth. So we're going to do one for Richard's mom. So I'm just going to write that down. Once he sends details, I'll jot those down. And then we're going to choose a second one as well. Santa Ana, El Salvador. Okay, Santa Ana. El Salvador. The only thing this won't cover for the live readings is like address, right? Because it just wouldn't be safe. But April 1st, 57. We love an Aries mom. 11:30 p.m. How are y'all? Like good, could be better, you know, kind of like one of those days, but not complaining, just kind of tired. I was like, I'm gonna go live in the morning. That way, if by tonight I feel like absolute shit, we've gotten a live in. And plus, we don't see the morning crew as much, so I like going live in the morning because it changes the vibe up quite a bit. Aww, 40 plus years living on her Pluto line. She has stage 4 cancer. We live in California. Okay, well, we're gonna see what we can do here and help her out as best as possible. The second one, let's go with... Let's go with Robin. I was like staring at your profile picture for a second there, so... Okay, that leaves minis up. Like I said, if I get through these 2 free readings and we don't have any minis, I'm never here to make y'all get readings. I'm not the type of person that's going to sit on a live till we get minis. If we get minis, we'll do the minis. Minis and full-length sessions can be found at the link in bio, cosmicvibrations.info. But again, we're just going to kind of play it by ear. Give me 1 sec here. Okay, so you're in Seattle. Let me write that down. I'm kind of getting that wanderlust vibe lately too. Like, I love Colorado, but we want a house, you know? I think having a house would be nice. I really would like to buy a house. It's just like the houses in Colorado are so expensive. It's like absolutely out of control. I feel like that's happening a lot in the States, especially in the blue states. It's like the places you can get the best health care are the places that are just out of control, and I'm kind of tired. Ooh, Neptune's rough for that, especially if you have like major or minor Mars affecting the region. Not my favorite. Santa Ana, El Salvador. Let's see, let me just triple check these details. 11:30 p.m. Okay. I see. I'm getting a lot better at visualizing these charts before they pop up, because it was funny, like intuitively it was like the East Coast has some sickening good health care. I wonder if she's going to have good lines on the East Coast in some regard. And she does. Not exactly where I was imagining, but we're going to go into that. Robin, let me just input you real quick here. Again, I think there's like 7 private sessions left, just a heads up. We thought about opening another day or 2. I'm currently in an energetic space where I would really prefer not to open any more days in October. I don't know if it's going to happen. Like, we've been throwing it around a little bit. At this point, I'm going to say it's not going to happen. Like, what's there is what's there. But if we get to a point where we think adding a day or 2 would be advantageous, or people are asking for it, it may happen. But at this point, I wouldn't hold your breath on it because I'm just like so tired. And I do feel like a few days off would be helpful. Oh, that's so funny. You have the same moon and rising sign as me, Robin, by the way. That's like so funny. Just difference in the sun sign. I'm a Sagittarius sun. I'm curious if there's any other similarities in our charts. Very nice. Okay. Let's see what we got going here. If I remember correctly, didn't you say, Richard, that you guys were in Texas? Oh, Krista, you have my birthday. What's up? I'm December 11th, 90. My Aries rising is very strong. People always think I'm like in a bad mood, angry or something because of that Aries rising. And I'm like, I'm not. It's just like, I think I might be autistic, A, and B, like, I don't know. I just kind of have that look about me a lot. As a splenic projector, you do so good in honoring your body and energy. Oh, thanks, Frankie. I definitely, like, I think this upcoming week, like, if I have the opportunity, I need to take, like, 2 to 3 straight days off and just, like, not do anything. We tried moving there, but, oh, my God, her Saturn-Mars lines are terrible. She got bad there. Bad people. She got mad, and we even fought. Oof. Okay, so are you back on the West Coast now? Like, what's her current location? But yeah, Robin, with that Aries rising, everyone's always like, you're mad, you're this, you're that. I also have to watch out to not like escalate when I get mad and just start yelling about shit. That's probably one of my biggest downfalls. 29 Palms, California, Yucca Valley area. 29 Palms. I didn't even know that was a location. Let's see here. 29 Palms. Or I could just use Yucca. Let's see which one pops better. 29 Palms, California. Got you. Okay. All right. So, the West Coast is really rough for her because she's got no like protective factors around this, right? She's got this Pluto in the MC position with a moon node in the AC position. So a lot of my readings, just a heads up to anyone watching, are like intuitively based also. So if I say something that has nothing to do to the chart, like pertaining to the chart, and it's more of a vibe, you'll always hear me say that. But the vibe I get with this is like your mom can't really be who she wants to be in some way, shape, or form. Like, does she have childhood trauma around her parents kind of having a certain expectation on her, or like, so like either the bar was set too high or too low, and this caused her to have like insecurity issues, and so she kind of just feels like not good enough all the time. Because on the West Coast, what's going to happen is she's constantly working through that, and when someone's being like when that's affecting somebody's mental space in that way, it's like draining them out all the time energetically and emotionally. And now she raised us as a helicopter parent. She was abandoned. Yes, so much. So like my thing with Pluto is like, okay, I of course, you know, with astrology, we can't guarantee like you're going to go from not being healthy to completely healthy, right? But I see the worst outcomes for people on Pluto with health, specifically in mental health. Like, there's just something about it where the person, and with this combination, she's just not, like, in her power, right? Like, she just can't be who she wants to be, or, like, I don't know. I just get, like, a very, like, what's the word? Like, dampened energy, like, kind of, like, held down, like, chained. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but I don't love this for her. Like, I don't really feel like she's just able to thrive and, like, be her best self. Texas was rough because do you see this right here? That's the Pluto zenith. If you measure it out like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, it's going to hit about like this coast, right? So not only does Texas have a tiny bit of Pluto, but now it's amplified responsibility in terms of work. And then although Jupiter and Mars parlay very well together, if that responsibility aspect is affecting her negatively and she's getting Pluto in that region, that's like way too much for one spot. Like, absolutely not. because then she's not actually, like, she'll be put in a slightly better position, and what's going to happen is all these years of like repressed emotion are going to exhibit themselves as frustration or anger. I know, because I did this switch up. I went from water to fire, and I went from being very amicable and what I call like a wet noodle in my personality to being so like strict on my boundaries that people just like thought I was like angry all the time. And it's not that I was angry all the time, it's that I hadn't learned. Even now, like when I feel like somebody's crossing a boundary, I still don't know how to articulate it, and so I may let people bulldoze me until the point where I snap, and then I'm like, this is inappropriate, right? That's kind of the vibe I get with Texas. So it does give a slightly better aspect, but I prefer this even more so right here, Venus IC and Sun IC, okay? Because the only way we can give her the standalone Jupiter line and remove Pluto from the equation is Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, Minnesota does have Mayo Clinic, which is like the best hospital in the country, and I know this because I know of several family members that have had to go to Mayo, and all of their experiences were fantastic. But 500 line still applies, 500 mile rule, yes. So for example, in Minnesota, she still may have that, like, I'm going to call it fieriness to her in the sense of boundaries. It's a little less responsibility. Let me just see something too. How long were you guys in Texas for? Just curious. Like when you transitioned into the region, how long did you guys stay for before you shifted out of it? Oh shit, okay. Because the other thing she's getting in the transitional aspect is a Saturn line with a Pluto line, so it's minor Pluto, minor Uranus, major Saturn affecting house 1. So that's gonna like, did she feel in terms of her energy to you like she was a little bit more on edge? It's like a burst of freedom meets like wanting to set boundaries, but also being thrown into contact with people that might be kind of aggressive. So it's kind of weird because it's not the most balanced aspect. I way prefer her transition into Minnesota. So like in the battle, first of all, it's a blue state too. So you're trading a blue state for a blue state. I would prefer Minnesota for her. It's going to weaken the responsibility affect. She will still get Mars, okay? Like, I'm not going to lie. She'll still have Mars, but this is going to help with energy. This is going to help with health. She's just going to have to learn how to appropriately set boundaries and not be extremely frustrated with the people around her if that's the choice that it comes down to. Again, we'd want to check your chart too to make sure you do well in the area, because if you clash, then it can create some strain with each other, which we don't want. But the one that's like really zened out is this right here. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit the best areas, but it's Toronto area that's positively amplified, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York. I wouldn't go any further than New York, New Jersey into the eastern aspect, because then she'll lose Venus and Sun IC. So basically, with Sun IC and Venus IC, this is a retirement line where you're pulled to the art, the culture, the aesthetic. So let's say she energizes off of water, right? And she wants to keep that water aspect. Then the East Coast states off the water would be more advantageous to her. Again, I'd run that demographic research on like which state has better healthcare. Off the top of my head, I do think Virginia's pretty mid-line. New York is going up in their rankings. Philly, I'm pretty sure, has some really good hospitals and doctors. I want to say Ohio has Cleveland Clinic, right? I'm pretty sure. So in that region, those are the ones I know of. I know Toronto's got pretty good healthcare from what I've heard from the locals, but New York, you know, I would take New York over New Jersey. But this Venus line will tap out about here, so it's going to extend probably the furthest into Philly. The Sun line will go a little further and hit into New York. But if she wants an overlay of both, that's definitely going to be like more of like the southern coastline. Oh my God, 1,000 times better than Pluto in California. Let me just see something too. She's got Pluto in the 8th, Jupiter in the 9th, Sun and Venus in the 4th. So also in terms of family, I mean, the chart already tells me this, but I'm going to say it to you as well. Venus IC, although a retirement line, does focus on family. Okay. So, you know, you, whoever else in the family that might be trying to move within bounds with her, that's a really nice overlay. It would just depend also on your chart, because if you're living with her, right, and helping her out, we would want to make sure your chart looks good too. So we could throw that into another free reading tomorrow or tonight, depending on when I go live next, to kind of get an overlay. So I would kind of take note of these locations and then just keep them in the back of your mind. Intuitively, Tennessee does kind of call to me for her, because it's an overlay between Jupiter, Venus, and Sun. So is Chicago and like the Milwaukee area. That's kind of like Minnesota too. She's getting Venus with Jupiter. She wasn't really getting Venus in Texas, however. It like taps out before that area. That's what's interesting to me. So Minnesota, Chicago, Tennessee, or if we're going a little bit further east, like Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Georgia for her. Hold on one second. Let me see comments real quick. We all live together. Okay, I'll send you a tip when I get paid, and I'll book a full reading. Do you need my details? I mean, yeah, why not? Like, we can keep this more so states focused and do a double. If you want to just drop your details, I'll input your chart too, and we can do a side by side. Why not? And then if you guys want to do like a whole world full reading and go more in depth on the local space and stuff in terms of projections for where you guys are considering, that we'll do that more in a full session. Oh, you're January 4th. I have like this draw to January 4th. I don't know what it is. My best friend growing up was a January 4th. $3:35 p.m. Aww. Salinas, California. Let's see what we got here, because intuitively I have a vibe that you have better alignment on the West Coast, but I just want to know if we can swing and make the East Coast work. Oh, okay. You have some nice Texas lines. All right. Okay. West Coast for you. You have a little bit of a weird mix-up, because let me open your local space too, because I'm already getting carried away with the main chart. Okay. So West Coast for you is kind of weird, because on one hand, you're trying to prioritize yourself. You have a lot of social connections here, probably, not just because you were raised here, but you do vibe with people intellectually as well as spiritually in this region. The issue is, I would like to see a little bit more money from this region. I'm not gonna lie. It's very neutral when it comes to money. Like, you have the spiritual and or artistic inspiration for the region to like get shit off the ground, right? But there's also this battle between like wanting to prioritize who you are, what you're trying to do, your life, your job, your relationships, and then giving back to the people around you and kind of bending yourself out of shape to make sure everybody's okay, you know, in your sphere of influence. So that might feel a little whiplashy. Now, you high key could do Colorado. My only concern with Colorado is you'd also get a little Neptune descendant with your Venus descendant, and you're getting a little bit of that in Texas too. When Neptune and Venus come into contact with each other, it can create what we call a facade in terms of the people you're getting to know. Like, you really like them when you're getting to know them, and then the further you get to know them, the more you're like, you're right, you know, you're okay. Let me just see something. Can she do Colorado? She could. It's not as strong on Jupiter, but I still like it. Colorado's got pretty good healthcare too, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite overlay for you guys is Texas, but I still think that might be a little too close to her Pluto zenith to give her a full clearance on it. So what I would do is actually put you on neutralities temporarily and then amplify your local space while giving her the better main chart alignment. So let me just see something real quick with that. Like, what is your local space alignment together? Because you do really well northeast, southwest. Does she have the same factor? Yeah. Northeast, southwest. Okay, that's beautiful, because this means that no matter what the city you want to look for housing, southwest is stronger. You both have Jupiter in a major position together. in that directionality, it's weakened in the northeast position, right? She could also do really well northwest off of Venus and Sun with house 4, or in the same directionality, but now southeast off of house 10, right? For you, those are neutral. So to give you the best boost together, southwest is going to be my favorite, like 100%. So no matter what the city, that's where I want you to scout housing out. And the way you'll do that is by typing in your city into the local space and then seeing where the rentals or the housing in that region falls. Give me one sec, Zyra. Okay. Just got Zyra for a mini reading. Hey, okay, so your username is @Z. Perfect. Now, the reason I said I would put her on neutralities temporarily, or you on neutralities temporarily, is that's going to give her the best boost for healthcare and for health in general, right? She's getting like a savage whammy on the West Coast. With Texas, you guys are aligned well, but I still don't like, again, that she's slightly getting Pluto. I would suss out Minnesota, as well as, and I'm giving you places demographically that I know have good healthcare too. Minnesota's top tier. They're always in the top 10. Cleveland Clinic is in Ohio, but if you're not going to Cleveland Clinic, the rest of the healthcare absolutely sucks. I'm going to just state that outright. North Carolina and Virginia are kind of mid, like in the middle. They're not terrible, but they're not like in the top, like let's say 10 to 15. I do know that Philly and New York have some pretty good healthcare, and Toronto. But Mayo Clinic in Minnesota would probably be the overall best alignment, because she's going to get Venus with Sun, which will, with Jupiter, which will help level Mars out a little bit. And then the thing that you're going to have to help her with is relaxing. I know Georgia is not the best, but we're stuck here for a year. Do you see anything good for me in Georgia? Georgia's great for her. Georgia's fantastic for her. She's going to be way more chilled out than she usually is because of the retirement line, and you're going to find her to be a little bit more happy than you're used to seeing her. Like, she's just going to shine brighter. There is an introspective energy for her, but it's very logically focused. For Georgia, for you, I want you, if you're setting goals on a career level or in general, I want you to set small goals, tiny goals, goals that can be met. Because here's the thing. If you set big goals and you don't reach them, you're more likely to get disappointed here with what you have in minor lines. And then also, you can have a reliance on the people around you, okay? But if you recognize that you're not getting reciprocity from certain people, or you're getting like an off vibe from certain people, it's okay to draw a boundary with them. I think as long as you take baby steps, you're gonna reach all your goals brilliantly, okay? And you're gonna feel really, really good about the location. But if you're setting these in like, what is the word? Like uncertainable, is that the word? Goals, then you're going to be like meh when you're trying to reach them, right? So do that. That's one thing I have for you. Also, you can process trauma through creativity here, or through like exploration. So maybe you go out and you try a new restaurant, or you go out and you whatever it is. That's going to be something that you're able to do in this region also. I'm trying to lose weight. Wait, 'tis the season, my friend. I'll be your weight loss buddy if you want. Because I'm totally in that boat. And I'm like on Jupiter, and I'm like, screw this Jupiter line. Then I got away from Jupiter for literally like a year, and I lost like 40 pounds within 4 months. It was crazy. Moved back to Jupiter, gained all of that weight back. It was a wild, not all of it, but a lot of it. So it's like really frustrated. I always tell people, just watch out for weight gain on Jupiter, because you're going to want to just like indulge. So you want to make sure that you have a little moderation. For me, being in recovery from like some eating issues, it's fine. But again, not my favorite. For you have a retirement on the East Coast, like through and through. But again, this doesn't give motivation, and this doesn't give financial gain. For you, financial gain is best on and around Texas and Colorado. I just really want you to get to know people, okay? Don't take them at face value if they have more than a 10-year connection to those locations. Because if you do, and then you start to get to know them, you might just kind of be disappointed by them, or feel like you kind of had the wool pulled over your eyes in a way, if that makes sense. And I don't love that. But I really like those locations for you. And in terms of, do you mind if I ask where in Georgia you guys are currently situated? Macon. Sounds like bacon. Let's see what she's got in transition over there. Yeah. I want her, if you can get her care at Mayo Clinic in Minnesota for her cancer, I really think that that's a good idea. Again, am I saying this is going to be like a cure-all? No. But I just have like a really good vibe about like the Chicago, Milwaukee, Minnesota region from where you guys are currently situated. I would also suss out Cleveland Clinic. But Mayo Clinic has saved several of our family members' lives. Like, they are top tier. They give you a whole team of professionals to work with. Sometimes they book a few months out. So I would just give them a call and kind of see what you're looking at with that. But like, they have been just like terrible situations. They have like saved so many lives. I don't go into people I know or family members' health stuff because it's not my place to speak on, but I can tell you that I've witnessed quite a bit through Mayo Clinic, and they have come through like valiantly. And from Georgia, she's got Venus and Sun with Mercury over this region, which is really protective. And then on her main chart, she's got a beautiful aspect to Minnesota also. So although that would be neutralities for you, like you're getting Saturn, which is focused on responsibility and like a more spiritual aspect in the location, it would benefit her. And then we're going to amplify your local space. So let's say you're, again, looking at those living locations, southwest for you guys for rentals. And you can do like a side-by-side with like Zillow or apartments.com with the local space. And again, if we do a full session at some point too, I would also just like shoot us an email because we'll like do a discount code or something. We can figure something out because I do want to really help her out with this and put you guys in a good space here. So, but basically we could project housing too, and you can do that on your own with AstroClick. But she's just got such a nice aspect over that region. Let me see if there's anything else that pops up, because I know sometimes like medical tourism is a thing that people like to look into. So let's just see. She does have good alignments to Yucatan, Mexico, and Central America also. So like Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Oaxaca, Yucatan, Mexico, Costa Rica are really, really advantageous to her. Should I sell my house in California then? I personally don't love the California alignment for you. I don't. So like if it was up to me, I would have you shift into, for you yourself for property gains, Texas or Colorado. Colorado, I will say this. Okay, here's 2 tidbits. Don't know why I feel like I need to tell you this. But Colorado, the housing market is just going up. Like there's no stopping on the housing market here. Like, to be honest, like people are just moving into the region. So if you invest in property here, like you sell your house and then you buy property in Colorado, you could like triple what you bought the house for within a few year time period. Texas is one of the first states to start 3D printing concrete houses. Now, with mom having health issues, right? Mold. You want to watch out for mold. And the way we usually build our houses is with wood. Wood facilitates mold, which can exacerbate cancer and chronic health issues. We've experienced this quite a bit. And Texas, I want to say it's in Austin, they are starting to build concrete houses that are mold proof. And so it's really cool. They're 3D printed. I think they're going for about $475. So I've been looking into that a lot. Like, where are these houses going up, and is it a possibility? Because that's going to just be way better on a health level. Mom also does have a really nice aspect to Scotland. That's probably my favorite in Europe for her. Because she's going to get Jupiter descendant with a lot of main character energy. It's highly protective. I don't think she'll get too much Pluto descendant. Do I like it as much as the States? No, I don't. I'm going to be honest. Her States alignment is way better than her Europe alignment. Take her maybe for a trip into Europe, but I wouldn't have her live there. That's like a very spiritual aspect for her, Switzerland, especially through the people she's going to be meeting. And it's also going to be very healing on relational trauma for her, which is good from what you've told me about her past. She's also got a lit alignment to Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, but those are a little obscure. Her past lifeline, one of them is off the Middle East. I actually have the same exact past lifeline. Let's see what else she's got going here. Where's her second past lifeline? It's kind of floating in the ocean. It's off Alaska and Juneau, Alaska. Let me see what you have. Do you guys share past lifelines? You have one off of the Caribbean islands, Guyana, Brazil, Venezuela, Bolivia, Paraguay. You guys would do really well in Mexico together too. You have a fantastic overlay to Yucatan, Mexico, and Central America together. So if ever you guys are trying to shift out of the States, I would consider those locations like very highly. You also, my friend, could do Europe like hands down. If you wanted to do Italy, if you wanted to do Switzerland, if you wanted to do what mom has in the States, you have over Germany, Switzerland, Italy, and Norway. So you could totally do that if you want to as well. Your second past lifeline is actually Brisbane and Sydney, Australia. If you're pulled to New Zealand, that's another one I could see you doing fantastically well. Just with partnerships, if you're trying to pull a partner from that area, you just want to like, again, get to know them because they're like this weird combination of like flighty but attentive. It's kind of bizarre. Peru. Lima, Peru. Fantastic for you. This is like really, really nice for you. You want to watch how much you're spending money in that region overall, but there's like an abundance of financial gain and community alignment. You're also going to have a way more laid back energy. So just make sure you're able to find the drive to get whatever you would like accomplished. For her, I don't like that as much because although she does have two really stable lines with Venus and Sun, she's also got a major water zenith in the region. And so, and a little bit of a moon IC retirement line. So that could like create a cancel out on health. So I'd say Central America, Yucatan, Oaxaca, Mexico, going to be way better in alignment and combination together out of the States. So my question for you is going to be, Richard, how do you feel this resonates overall? And what questions can I answer for you? I am going to run downstairs real quick to get my coffee before it sits in the sun too long and then I can't drink it. But I'm going to wait till after I go over questions and stuff. You hit all the spots. You are amazing. And again, it's more intuitive with a line-based aspect on Mayo Clinic. And then Cleveland Clinic, because when we had a few family members that were going through it with certain health issues, that's what kept getting recommended was Mayo Clinic in Rochester being the number one overall. But then Cleveland Clinic did come up quite a bit in Ohio. And again, these will be a little more neutral for you, but you will see her thrive. And I do think that's important in terms of like her healthcare alignment and then just general well-being mentally to get away from that Pluto line overall. The other one I would say like you can consider is Colorado. It's just a little weaker on Jupiter for her. That's my main concern with it. But I do intuitively feel like that one you might want to suss that one out a little bit too. It's a little more advantageous to you. I'd also say like nature and like any type of creativity and art is like super important to her, spending time with family. So prioritize those things. That's going to help her feel more leveled out. And she also just needs to get comfortable with setting boundaries. Like that's something I struggle with too. She'll just want to learn like a healthy outlet for boundaries and like how to express anger. You know, we all have to learn that, right? No big deal on that at all. You gain a lot through travel. Like you learn the most when you're experiencing, Richard, new cultures, new people from different cultures, right? And so that's going to be super important. But I feel like trying out new restaurants or going to see like different sites together is going to be really, really advantageous. You have like a very naturally healing energy. What did it do, Lady Bayou? How are you today? Yeah. I'm okay. Thanks for asking. That 6th house shows his love for astrology. I love you, Frankie. We've got some epic readers in the live if you guys are ever looking for anything other than astrocartography too. Lady Bayou does some lit tarot readings. We always go to her for like check-ins when we can catch her. She's been nothing but accurate and like absolutely amazing in her energy. Akea does like a whole slew of different readings. You can check her out from like healing sessions to, you know, pet medium work. And then Frankie is really good at human design. So we got like a whole menu and lineup for y'all here. Yeah, you definitely are on the struggle bus in California for putting people on a pedestal, let me tell you. You might still have that affect a little bit in Colorado and as well in Texas a tiny bit, but you'll learn how to balance it a bit better in those regions. Like you'll become cognizant and aware of it. Give me 1 sec, y'all. I'm just gonna grab my coffee before we hop into Robin. And I'm gonna reset these charts because I get overtly confused if they're not reset. On our queue, we have Zara. I just need details for Zara. And then if we don't have any other minis, what we'll do, Angelica, is run you as just like a free donational reading. It won't be like a whole world reading if that's okay, because there's been a lot of free readings in this live. I'll probably keep it more states-based, but the live's pretty low-key. I don't know if we're going to get many other minis, so we can definitely add you after Zara. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna step away briefly to grab this. I got you egg bites, I'll put them in the fridge. But if you want them, you can eat them. And I got you popcorn and chips.